Welcome, dear seekers of the eerie and the unexplained, to Whispers in the Dark, your sanctuary for all things haunting and mysterious. In a world where the mundane often overshadows the mystical, we stand as torchbearers illuminating the path to the unknown, delving deep into realms where reality blurs with nightmare. Here, amidst the flickering glow of our screens and the hum of restless curiosity, we invite you to step beyond the veil of the ordinary and explore the chilling depths of North America's most haunted mansions. Tonight marks the second installment of our spine-tingling series, Most Haunted Mansions in North America. Over the course of this journey, we will traverse through time and space, uncovering the dark secrets and spectral whispers that linger within these opulent yet ominous estates. From sprawling Gothic manors to decaying Victorian homes, each location is steeped in history and shrouded in tales too unsettling to be forgotten. These are not mere urban legends whispered in hushed tones or folklore spun to entertain. No, these are documented encounters, real people, real places, and real horrors that have left indelible marks on those who dared to witness them. As storytellers, our mission is clear: to peel back the layers of fear and fascination, crafting an atmosphere thick with suspense and intrigue. We aim not only to recount these tales but to immerse you in their chilling depths, making every creak of the floorboards and whisper in the dark feel as though it's happening right beside you. With every word, we strive to evoke the same visceral reactions felt by those who lived through these harrowing events, those fleeting moments when the impossible becomes undeniable. So, dear viewers and listeners, prepare yourselves for a journey into the abyss. Here, in the dim glow of your screens, we invite you to open your minds, and perhaps brace your hearts, as we reveal the terrifying truths hidden within the folds of reality. Welcome to a world where the past whispers, the present trembles, and the future remains shrouded in mystery. Let's step into the darkness together, where every shadow might just conceal more than anyone bargained for. In this episode, we will uncover the haunted tapestry of North America's storied past. Each tale is a thread woven into the fabric of local lore, echoing through the ages and beckoning us to listen closely. Join us as we embark on this chilling odyssey, exploring the eerie corridors of haunted mansions that continue to captivate and terrify. Stay tuned, for the shadows hold many secrets, and the night is young. The haunting echoes of Biltmore Estate, Asheville's grand ghost nestled in the heart of Asheville, North Carolina, stands one of the most iconic and enigmatic landmarks in North America, the Biltmore Estate. Built between 1889 and 1895 by George Washington Vanderbilt II, this sprawling mansion spans over 178,000 square feet and boasts 250 rooms, including 35 bedrooms, 43 bathrooms, and a labyrinthine network of hallways and secret passages. Known as America's largest home, the estate was designed to rival European castles, blending elements of French Renaissance architecture with the untamed beauty of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Yet beneath its grandeur lies a dark legacy of tragedy, loss, and unexplained phenomena that has earned it a reputation as one of the most haunted mansions on the continent. The Biltmore Estate's opulence is matched only by its history. For decades, the Vanderbilt family hosted lavish parties, entertained dignitaries, and reveled in the luxury of their mountain retreat. However, as the years passed, the estate bore witness to a series of personal tragedies. George Vanderbilt died unexpectedly at the age of 51, leaving his widow Edith to manage the property during challenging economic times. Their daughter, Cornelia, grew up under the shadow of her father's untimely death and eventually sold much of the estate to ensure its survival. It is said that the spirits of the Vanderbilts, along with those of former servants and guests, still roam the halls, unable, or unwilling, to leave the home they once cherished. Today, the Biltmore Estate operates as a museum and tourist attraction, drawing millions of visitors annually. Yet, for those who dare to explore its darker corners, the mansion reveals a side that defies logic and reason. Paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers alike have reported strange occurrences throughout the property, from disembodied footsteps echoing down empty corridors to ghostly apparitions glimpsed in antique mirrors. Among the most frequently cited locations of activity are the basement wine cellar, the library, and the winter garden, a glass-domed conservatory that seems to amplify the estate's eerie ambience. One particularly chilling account comes from a group of paranormal enthusiasts who conducted an overnight investigation in the mansion's bowels. Armed with EMF detectors, thermal cameras, and audio recorders, the team ventured into areas typically off-limits to the public. Their goal was simple: to document any evidence of supernatural activity rumored to plague the estate. What they encountered, however, would haunt them forever. The footage begins innocently enough, with shaky camera angles capturing the intricate woodwork of the library and the ornate chandeliers of the banquet hall. Laughter echoes faintly as the group jokes about the ghost stories surrounding the Biltmore. But as they descend deeper into the mansion's labyrinthine passageways, the atmosphere shifts palpably. The air grows colder, their breath visible in the dim light, and the laughter falters. At the 15-minute mark, the first anomaly appears. A faint, distorted voice whispers from the shadows, audible only when the audio is played back. None of the group seems to hear it in real time, yet the camera captures it with eerie clarity. Minutes later, the group enters the basement wine cellar, a cavernous space lined with stone walls and filled with rows of dusty bottles. The camera lingers on a rusted iron gate, its hinges frozen in place like the hands of a clock stopped mid-tick. Suddenly, the lights above flicker, casting erratic shadows across the walls. One of the investigators, visibly unnerved, mutters, "Did someone touch that?" before stepping back. No one had. The camera shakes violently as the group scrambles to leave the room, their panicked breathing filling the audio track. The climax occurs in the Winter Garden, a sunlit conservatory adorned with exotic plants and towering palm trees. Here, the camera captures something truly inexplicable: a translucent figure standing near the fountain, its form flickering like static on an old television. The figure raises an arm, pointing directly at the group before vanishing in an instant. The friends freeze, their faces pale with terror, before bolting toward the exit. The final moments of the video show them fleeing into the night, their screams echoing into the void. This chilling encounter, preserved in grainy footage, has since been analyzed by paranormal investigators and skeptics alike. Some argue that the anomalies could be explained by environmental factors, electromagnetic interference, or psychological suggestion, but others insist that the evidence points to something far more sinister. Whatever the truth may be, the Biltmore Estate incident remains one of the most compelling examples of the supernatural caught on camera, a stark reminder that some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed. Today, the estate continues to welcome visitors eager to experience its beauty and history. Yet, for those attuned to the whispers of the past, the mansion offers more than just a glimpse into Gilded Age splendor. It provides a portal to a realm where the boundaries between the living and the dead blur into uncertainty. Whether you believe in ghosts or dismiss them as figments of the imagination, the Biltmore Estate stands as a testament to the enduring power of fear, and the mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of human understanding. The Phantom Ballroom of Bolt Castle, love and loss on Hart Island. Perched on a rocky outcrop in the middle of the St. Lawrence River lies Bolt Castle, a hauntingly beautiful structure steeped in romance, tragedy, and spectral intrigue. Commissioned in 1900 by millionaire hotel magnate George C. Bolt, the castle was intended as a grand gesture of love for his wife, Louise. Designed to resemble a Rhineland fortress, the mansion featured 120 rooms, a drawbridge, and a lush private island known affectionately as Hart Island. Construction was halted abruptly in 1904, however, when Louise died suddenly of a heart attack. Devastated, Bolt ordered all work to cease and abandoned the project, leaving the unfinished castle to the mercy of time and the elements. For nearly a century, Bolt Castle stood as a monument to unfulfilled dreams, its crumbling walls and overgrown gardens whispering tales of lost love and broken promises. In 1977, the Thousand Islands Bridge Authority acquired the property and began restoring it to its former glory. Today, the castle serves as a popular tourist destination, attracting couples seeking romantic getaways and history buffs eager to explore its storied past. Yet, for those who linger too long, the mansion reveals a side that defies explanation, a phantom presence tied to the tragic fate of its original owners. Visitors to Bolt Castle often report hearing music emanating from the ballroom, despite the fact that no instruments or sound systems are present. The melody is described as melancholic and wistful, evoking the image of a lone violinist playing in memory of a love lost too soon. Others claim to see the ghostly figure of a woman clad in white wandering the halls, her face obscured by a veil. Some interpret these sightings as manifestations of Lise Bolt herself. One such encounter occurred in the summer of 2019, when a wedding party rented the castle for their ceremony. As the bride prepared in one of the upstairs chambers, she noticed a reflection in the mirror behind her. Turning around, she saw nothing but the empty room. Later, while posing for photographs in the ballroom, the groom froze mid-laugh, staring at something over the photographer's shoulder. When asked what he was looking at, he stammered, There's a woman standing there. She looks so sad." The photographer reviewed the images later that evening and found something extraordinary. In several shots, a translucent figure appeared near the edge of the frame, her form blurred but unmistakably feminine. Her dress flowed as if caught in a breeze, though the air inside the ballroom was perfectly still. Experts who examined the photos suggested that the apparition could be residual energy, a fragment of the past trapped in time. Others speculated that it might be an intelligent spirit, drawn to the joy and celebration of the living. Regardless of the interpretation, the story of Bolt Castle serves as a poignant reminder of the enduring power of love, and the lengths to which grief can tether the soul to the earthly plane. For those who visit Hart Island, the mansion offers not only breathtaking views of the river but also a chance to connect with a love story frozen in time. Whether you come seeking romance or answers, Bolt Castle invites you to listen closely to the whispers of the past, and perhaps catch a glimpse of the eternal dance between life and death. The Shadow That Walks Alone, a family's encounter with the supernatural in the quiet suburbs of Portland, Oregon, nestled among rows of neatly manicured lawns and family-friendly homes, lies a seemingly ordinary residence at 1428 Maple Street. To the casual observer, it appears no different from its neighbors, save for the slight chill that seems to linger in the air whenever one approaches. For the Carter family, however, this house became the epicenter of an experience so bizarre and unsettling that it defied all rational explanation. The Carters moved into the home in late spring, eager to start a new chapter in their lives. The house, though modest, was spacious enough for Mark, Lisa, and their two children, Emily and Jake. What began as a peaceful transition quickly spiraled into something far darker. It started with small, inexplicable occurrences, toys scattered across the floor when no one had touched them, faint whispers heard in empty rooms, and the distinct feeling of being watched. At first, the family dismissed these incidents as the quirks of an older house settling into its bones. But soon, the disturbances escalated. One evening, while the family gathered in the living room to watch a movie, their nanny cam, positioned to monitor the children's playroom, captured something that would change their lives forever. The timestamp on the footage read 9:47 p.m. The camera angle was fixed, offering a wide view of the brightly lit room. Toys sat untouched, the air was still, and the faint hum of the heating system provided the only sound. Then, without warning, the door creaked open, though no one was near it. A shadow, tall and humanoid in shape, slipped into the frame. It moved with deliberate slowness, its form shifting unnaturally as though it were made of smoke rather than flesh. The shadow paused by the toy chest, extended an arm-like appendage, and then vanished as abruptly as it had appeared. When the Carters reviewed the footage the following morning, disbelief quickly gave way to dread. The shadow was unlike anything they had ever seen, its movements too fluid and purposeful to be explained away as a trick of light or shadow. Panic set in as they realized the entity had entered their home while they were mere feet away, oblivious to its presence. Over the next few weeks, the shadow grew bolder. It began appearing in multiple rooms, always captured by the cameras but never witnessed directly by the family. The nursery camera once recorded it standing over Jake's crib, its featureless head tilted downward as though studying the sleeping child. Another clip showed it lingering in the kitchen, its form elongating unnaturally as it stretched toward the refrigerator before dissipating. Each appearance left the family more shaken, their sense of safety eroding with every passing day. Desperate for answers, Mark reached out to a local paranormal investigator, Dr. Laura Bennett, whose expertise lay in analyzing unexplained phenomena. Dr. Bennett arrived at the house armed with EMF detectors, thermal imaging cameras, and a healthy dose of skepticism. After setting up her equipment, she conducted a thorough sweep of the property. The results were inconclusive at first, but during a nighttime vigil, her thermal camera captured something extraordinary. The footage showed a heat signature moving through the hallway, its shape unmistakably humanoid. Unlike the shadowy figure from the nanny cam, this entity emitted a cold aura, registering well below ambient temperature on the thermal scale. It paused outside Emily's bedroom door, lingered for several seconds, and then disappeared. Dr. Bennett noted that the entity seemed to avoid direct contact with the family, instead observing them from a distance. She theorized that it might be an intelligent spirit, bound to the house for reasons unknown. Despite Dr. Bennett's efforts, the shadow's appearances continued. The Carters tried everything to rid themselves of the intruder, smudging the house with sage, rearranging furniture to disrupt energy flows, and even consulting a medium. Nothing worked. The shadow remained a constant, silent presence, its motives as inscrutable as its origin. Eventually, the strain became unbearable. Lisa began experiencing vivid nightmares, waking up in tears with no memory of what she had dreamed. Emily refused to sleep alone, claiming that the man in the dark was watching her. Even Mark, who had initially dismissed the phenomenon as stress-induced paranoia, found himself unable to shake the feeling that something malevolent was sharing their home. The breaking point came one stormy night. The power went out, plunging the house into darkness. As the family huddled together in the living room, the baby monitor crackled to life. On the small screen, the shadow loomed large, its form pulsating as though alive. It reached toward the camera, its movements jerky and aggressive. Then, the screen went black. Terrified, the Carters fled the house that night, leaving behind everything except their most essential belongings. They rented a temporary apartment and placed their home on the market, hoping to sever ties with the entity once and for all. The house sold quickly, but the new owners reported similar disturbances within weeks of moving in. Today, the Carters refused to speak publicly about their ordeal, fearing ridicule or worse. However, the nanny cam footage remains, a chilling testament to the shadow that walked alone. Experts who have studied the recordings remain divided. Some believe the entity is a residual haunting, a fragment of energy trapped in time. Others argue it is an intelligent spirit, possibly malevolent, drawn to the emotional turmoil of the family. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: the shadow at 1428 Maple Street is a reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved. The Whispering Woods, a hiker's descent into madness nestled deep within the Appalachian Mountains, lies a sprawling expanse of wilderness known locally as the Whispering Woods. Spanning thousands of acres of dense forest, jagged cliffs, and winding trails, the area has long been a haven for hikers, nature enthusiasts, and adventurers seeking solitude. Yet beneath its serene exterior lies a dark secret, one whispered about in hushed tones by locals and dismissed by outsiders as mere superstition. But for those who dare to venture too far into its depths, the woods reveal a side that defies logic and sanity. The story begins with Ethan Cole, a seasoned backpacker and amateur videographer who prided himself on exploring the most remote and untouched corners of the natural world. Ethan had heard the legends surrounding the Whispering Woods, tales of hikers vanishing without a trace, strange noises echoing through the trees, and an overwhelming sense of dread that enveloped anyone who lingered too long. Skeptical but intrigued, Ethan decided to document his journey through the woods, hoping to either debunk the myths or uncover something extraordinary. Equipped with a GoPro strapped to his chest, a GPS tracker, and a sturdy hiking pack, Ethan set out on a crisp autumn morning. The early footage captures the beauty of the forest in vivid detail: golden leaves carpeting the ground, sunlight filtering through the canopy, and the gentle rustle of the wind. Ethan narrates his progress with enthusiasm, his voice steady and confident as he describes the terrain and shares tidbits of local lore. "They call it the Whispering Woods because of the sound the wind makes as it moves through the trees," he explains. "But I've got a feeling there's more to it than that." For the first few hours, Ethan's trek proceeds without incident. He stops periodically to film landmarks: a cascading stream, a moss-covered rock formation, and a clearing bathed in sunlight. However, as he ventures deeper into the woods, subtle changes begin to occur. The temperature drops noticeably, despite the bright sun overhead. The chirping of birds fades into silence, replaced by an eerie stillness that feels unnatural. And then there are the whispers. At first, they are faint, barely audible murmurs carried on the breeze. Ethan pauses, tilting his head as if trying to discern their source. "Probably just the wind," he mutters, though his tone betrays a hint of unease. But as he continues walking, the whispers grow louder and more distinct. They seem to come from all directions, overlapping and unintelligible, yet undeniably human in origin. Ethan's camera captures his growing discomfort. His steps quicken, and his narration becomes sporadic, punctuated by nervous laughter. By late afternoon, the whispers have evolved into a cacophony, drowning out all other sounds. Ethan's GPS device begins malfunctioning, its signal flickering erratically before dying altogether. Panic sets in as he realizes he is lost, the familiar trail markers nowhere to be found. The camera footage becomes increasingly disorienting, the frame jostling as Ethan stumbles through the underbrush. His breathing grows labored, and his voice cracks as he pleads for the whispers to stop. "What do you want from me?" he shouts into the void, his words swallowed by the relentless din. The climax of Ethan's ordeal occurs as daylight begins to wane. The camera captures a narrow path leading to a cluster of ancient, gnarled trees whose branches twist skyward like skeletal fingers. In the center of the clearing stands a crude stone altar, its surface stained with what appears to be dried blood. Surrounding it are dozens of weathered carvings, symbols and runes that defy translation. Ethan hesitates, his body trembling as he approaches the altar. The whispers crescendo into a deafening roar, and the camera shakes violently as Ethan collapses to his knees. "I see them," he gasps, his voice barely audible over the noise. "They're everywhere." The final seconds of the footage show Ethan staring directly into the lens, his eyes wide with terror. Behind him, shadowy figures emerge from the trees, their forms indistinct but undeniably humanoid. The screen cuts to black as the camera falls to the ground. Ethan's disappearance sparked a massive search effort, but no trace of him was ever found. The recovered footage, uploaded posthumously by his family, has since become a subject of intense scrutiny. Experts who analyze the symbols carved into the altar suggest they may belong to an obscure pagan cult that once inhabited the region. Others propose that the woods themselves harbor a malevolent force, feeding on the fear and confusion of those who enter. Regardless of the explanation, the Whispering Woods remain a place of mystery and dread. Hikers who stray too far from marked trails report hearing the same whispers that plagued Ethan, while others claim to have seen shadowy figures lurking among the trees. The forest, it seems, does not relinquish its secrets easily, and those who dare to uncover them may find themselves paying the ultimate price. In the heart of Chicago, where the city's skyline pierces the heavens and the streets buzz with ceaseless activity, lies a tale that has woven itself into the fabric of urban legend, the story of the midnight train. This spectral locomotive, shrouded in mystery and whispered about in hushed tones, is said to traverse the abandoned railways that snake through the city's underbelly, carrying with it the echoes of a tragic past. The legend speaks of a train that appears only at the stroke of midnight, gliding silently along tracks long forsaken by modern transit. Its origins trace back to the early 20th century, a time when railroads were the lifelines of commerce and communication. On a fateful night in 1923, a passenger train derailed under mysterious circumstances, claiming the lives of all aboard. Since then, sightings of a ghostly train matching the description of the ill-fated locomotive have been reported by night workers, homeless individuals, and curious thrill-seekers drawn to the allure of the unknown. One such seeker was Marcus Lee, a freelance journalist with a penchant for the paranormal. Marcus had spent months researching urban legends across the Midwest, but none intrigued him as much as the midnight train. Determined to separate fact from fiction, he decided to stake out one of the rumored routes, a stretch of rusted rails hidden beneath the city's elevated highways. Armed with a high-definition camera, a flashlight, and a thermos of coffee, Marcus settled into his makeshift observation post, a crumbling platform that once served bustling commuters. As the clock struck 12, the air grew heavy, and an unnatural silence fell over the area. Moments later, a distant rumble echoed through the tunnels, growing louder with each passing second. From the darkness emerged the train, its headlights dim and flickering, casting eerie shadows along the walls. The locomotive was a relic of another era, its paint peeling and windows clouded with grime. Yet, it moved with an uncanny smoothness, as if guided by an unseen hand. Marcus's camera captured every detail as he cautiously approached the train. The doors creaked open, revealing interiors bathed in a sickly green hue. Rows of passengers sat motionless, their faces pale and expressionless, staring blankly ahead. Despite the chill in the air, Marcus felt beads of sweat forming on his brow. Summoning his courage, he stepped aboard, the camera trembling in his grip. Inside, the atmosphere was suffocating. The air smelled of damp earth and something metallic, akin to blood. The whispers began softly, almost imperceptible, but soon swelled into a chorus of anguished voices. Marcus recognized fragments of phrases, pleas for help, cries of despair, all spoken in languages he couldn't understand. The camera footage shows him backing away, his breath coming in shallow gasps, as the train began to move without warning. The journey lasted only minutes, but to Marcus, it felt like an eternity. The train sped through tunnels that seemed to stretch infinitely, the walls adorned with cryptic symbols that pulsed with faint light. At one point, the camera captures a fleeting glimpse of the conductor, a gaunt figure cloaked in shadows, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly intensity. Marcus's narration becomes frantic, his voice breaking as he describes the sensation of being pulled toward the front of the train, as though an invisible force sought to claim him. The ordeal ends abruptly as the train screeches to a halt. The doors slam shut, and Marcus finds himself back on the platform, alone and disoriented. The footage cuts to black as he collapses, the camera falling from his grasp. When he regained consciousness hours later, the train was gone, leaving behind only the faint scent of smoke and the lingering echo of its horn. Marcus's account, corroborated by the chilling footage, has since fueled countless debates among paranormal enthusiasts. Some believe the midnight train is a vessel for lost souls, condemned to relive their final moments in an endless loop. Others argue it is a manifestation of collective grief, a spectral reminder of the tragedy that befell its passengers. Regardless of the interpretation, the story of the midnight train serves as a haunting testament to the enduring power of the past, and the thin veil that separates the living from the dead. As we draw this chilling journey to a close, let us pause to reflect on the profound implications of the stories we've explored. These harrowing encounters, etched into the annals of recorded history through grainy footage, distorted audio, and fragmented memories, are more than mere curiosities. They are stark reminders that the boundaries of our understanding are far more permeable than we dare to admit. The supernatural, whether it manifests as ghostly apparitions, shadowy figures, or malevolent forces, challenges the very foundations of what we consider reality. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that there are dimensions beyond our perception, realms where the rules of logic and physics dissolve into the unknowable. These documented events serve as undeniable proof that the unseen is not merely a figment of imagination or a product of overactive minds. They compel us to reevaluate our relationship with the spaces we inhabit, the tools we use, and even the technology we rely on. Consider the cameras that capture these phenomena, devices designed to record the tangible, yet they have inadvertently become portals to the intangible. The footage from Blackwood Asylum, Route 47, Alcacabe Apartments, and The Shadow at 1428 Maple Street does more than document the supernatural. It invites us to question the limitations of human perception. Are these anomalies glitches in our reality, or are they deliberate attempts by otherworldly entities to bridge the gap between their world and ours? Yet, the implications of these encounters extend far beyond the individual stories themselves. Collectively, they paint a picture of a universe teeming with mysteries that defy explanation. Each incident, whether rooted in sorrow, tragedy, or malevolence, suggests a connection between the living and the dead, the seen and the unseen. The whispers in the asylum, the phantom hitchhiker on the desolate road, the cursed lens of Hiroshi's camera, and the shadow that stalked the Carter family, all of these point to a shared truth: that the past is never truly gone, and the spirits of those who came before may linger, tethered to places, objects, or even emotions. This realization carries a weight that extends beyond fear. It speaks to the enduring bonds between humanity and the metaphysical, urging us to approach the unknown with both caution and reverence. But what does this mean for us, the observers, the storytellers, and the seekers of truth? It means that we must embrace the uncertainty. The supernatural, by its very nature, resists definition. To study it is to wade into waters where science falters and faith takes root. Yet, it is precisely this ambiguity that makes the pursuit worthwhile. Each unanswered question, each unexplained phenomenon, is an invitation to explore further, to dig deeper into the archives of the unexplained, to listen to the whispers of the past, and to peer into the shadows that dance just beyond the edge of our vision. For those who dare to venture into this realm, the rewards are manifold. The thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of piecing together fragments of the unknown, and the profound sense of awe that comes from brushing against the edges of the inexplicable, all of these make the pursuit of the supernatural a journey worth undertaking. Whether you are a skeptic seeking evidence, or a believer yearning for validation, the stories we've shared today remind us that the search for truth is rarely linear. It is messy, unpredictable, and often unsettling, but it is also deeply human. So, as we leave the shadows behind, for now, we invite you to carry the torch of curiosity. Question the world around you. Listen closely to the stories of those who have faced the unknown. And remember, the next time you pick up a camera, switch on a recorder, or even walk down a dimly lit street, you might just capture something that defies explanation. Because in the end, the supernatural is not merely a subject of fascination, it is a call to wonder, to explore, and to embrace the infinite possibilities that lie just beyond the veil. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unseen. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and never stop questioning the shadows.